Hello viewers, you are welcome to my YouTube channel and presenting to you this lesson. I'm Tutor Patrick Divine. This is my name. I'm Tutor Patrick Divine. Um, if you want to get in touch with me, you can actually call me on this number. It is also my WhatsApp number. So my number is 0975334778 plus 26097534778. If you need tuitions, online tuitions for grade 10s to 12, either you are writing your GCE exam, you can actually call me on this number. We talk so that I tell you how it's going to be. All right. So like I said, I'm Tutor Patrick Divine. Okay, that is my name. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to balance the equations. Okay, to balance the equations in chemistry. All right. So today, this is what we are looking at. This is what we are looking at. So we are looking at balancing the equations in chemistry. All right. So we are balancing the equations in chemistry. So before you balance an equation, you need to know what an equation is. Okay, so you need to know what an equation is so that you can balance it, because you can't balance something that you don't know. So you need to know what an equation is. All right, so here is the definition of an equation. I actually came up with this equation, the definition. Okay, so an equation is a chemical sentence which describes what is happening in a chemical reaction. Okay, so an equation, it is a chemical sentence which describes what is happening in a chemical reaction. So it describes what happens in a chemical reaction. Okay, so that is what an equation is. So now you need to know how it is represented. Okay, so you need to know how it is represented so that you'll be able to tell that this is an equation. So now how is it represented? What do you think it is? So an equation, it is represented in a form A, okay? A plus B. A plus B, there is an arrow here, okay? C plus D, okay? So it is represented in this way. An equation, it is represented in this form. Okay, so just say represented like that, in that form like that. All right, so it is represented in this form like this. A plus B is equal to C plus what? Plus D. So now you need to know what these mean. You need to know what these mean. You need to know what A, B is. You need to know what C and D is. So you need to know all this before you balance an equation. All right. So A and B. Okay. So take note of this. A and B represents the reactants. A and B represents the what? The reactants. Okay. A and B represent the reactants, meaning the atoms or elements that are reacting. Okay, so A and B. So these which are on the left hand side, on your left hand side, they represent the reactants. The reactants are elements or substances in the beginning of a reaction. Okay, are substances that are in the beginning or at the beginning of the reaction. So when these two react, they will produce what we call products. So these which are on your right hand side, they are called products. So these products, they are produced by these. They are produced when these two react together. Okay, so when these two react together, they are going to produce what we call products. Okay, So these two, A and B, represent reactants, and C and D represent products. Okay, they represent what? They represent products. All right, they represent products like that. Okay, so you need to know what this positive means on the left hand side and this positive on the right hand side mean. Okay, even this arrow, you need to know what it means. You need to know what it means. Make sure that you understand, because chemistry, I should say, it starts from balancing the equations. Okay, it starts from making a chemical equation, a chemical formula, to making a chemical equation. All right, so if you can't balance an equation, if you can't make a chemical formula, then you can't pass chemistry. So you need to know all this, because you'll be balancing equations. Because before you solve any equations in chemistry, most of the equations, they come on balancing the equation. So you need to know how to balance the equation. So you need to know what this positive on the left hand side mean, as well as this on the right hand side mean. Okay, so even this arrow, you need to know what it means. So this positive on the left hand side, on your left hand side, it means to react. Okay, this positive sign, it means to react. It means to react like that. To react. Okay, it means to react. Okay, so it means to react. And this on the right hand side means and. Okay, it means and. All right, so even this arrow means to form like that, to form. Okay, they mean, this arrow means to form. This positive on the left hand side means to react. This positive on the right hand side means and. Okay, so this is the interpretation of this. It means that A and B react. Okay, react. This arrow means to form. Okay, so A and B react to form C and D. Okay, so A and A react with what? With B. So A react with B to form C and D. As simple as that. So you need to know all this. So you need to know which ones are the reactants. So the reactants are those elements or those atoms or substances that are reacting. Okay, that are reacting. All right, and products are those elements or atoms that have been produced, or should I say compounds that have been produced. Okay, so here A and B have reacted and C and D have been produced from these two. Okay, so these two react in order to form these two here. So you need to know how to how to do that, how to interpret that. You need to know which ones are the products, which ones are the reactants. Okay, which ones are formed, So the other definition of the reactants. So another definition of the reactants. So the reactants, they are substances that take part in a chemical at the beginning of the chemical reaction. So they are reactants are substances that take part in a chemical reaction. So they are substances that take part in a chemical reactions. They are normally at the beginning of the equation or the left hand side of the equation. Okay, and the products are new substances that have been produced. So these ones, they react and new substances are being formed, they are being produced, and they are always at the right hand side of the equation. Okay, so in the other way, or should I say the other term that you can use for this arrow, it is equation. Okay, So this is an equation. So this is what we call an equation in chemistry. An equation in chemistry. All right. So you need to know what that is. Okay. So now you need to know what a word equation is. Okay. You need to know what a word equation is, because there is a word equation and a chemical equation. There is a word equation and a chemical what? Equation. So a word equation, what is a word equation? So a word equation is an equation that represents atoms or elements in their real names, okay? In their names, okay? In their elementary names, okay? So they are just in their names. For instance, when you react magnesium, let's say when you react magnesium like this, when you react, they are represented like this. So this is, so let's say a word equation, a word equation, equation like that. So a word equation, so a word equation, it's just what describes an equation in their elementary names. Okay, so let's take it. For instance, we have magnesium, magnesium, magnesium like that, magnesium metal, okay, magnesium metal reacts with oxygen, okay, react with oxygen gas. You know that oxygen is gas, oxygen gas, to form, okay, to form, you know what to form it is, that equal sign, okay? You need to know that to form is that equal sign or that arrow like that. In order to form what? Magnesium react with what? With oxygen, in order to form what? Magnesium oxide, okay? Magnesium what? Oxide. So to form what? Magnesium oxide like that, magnesium oxide like that. So this is what we call a word equation. So it is the equation that is represented in words, okay? It represented in words. So magnesium is even described as a metal. You know that it is a metal. So this is an equation in words, is an equation in words. So the word equation, it is an equation in what? In words. So you need to know all this. You need to know what this is. So let's actually look at another example. So another example, so this is example 1, okay? So this is examples of word equation. So we are on word equation. We are on word equation, okay? Like that, word equation. So another example of an equation would say when iron 2 chloride solution, okay? So number 2, so they are saying that iron 2 like that, iron 2 chloride, okay? Say iron 2 chloride like that, iron 2 chloride solution, okay? Iron 2 chloride solution, iron 2 chloride solution, and hydrogen and hydrogen gas are produced, okay, are produced when iron reacts, okay? When iron reacts when iron reacts with dilute with dilute hydrochloric, okay, dilute hydrochloric acid, like that. Okay, so they are saying that iron 2 chloride solution and hydrogen gas are produced when ion react with what? With dilute hydrochloric acid. So you need to know these terms that we are using. We said that A and B, these A and B at the beginning of the equation, they represent what? Reactants. Okay, so this positive represents what? React. Okay, so they are saying that iron chloride solution and hydrogen gas are produced. Okay, so iron chloride solution and hydrogen gas are produced. Okay, are produced. Here it's supposed to be produced. Okay, so you need to know that these are products because they are produced. They are produced. So these are the what? The products. When so they are produced when ion reacts. So we've seen ion is a reactant. Okay, ion reacts with what? Dilute hydrochloric acid. So meaning that ion and hydrochloric acid are the reactants. So when these two react, they are going to produce iron 2 chloride solution and oxygen. So I said this represents what? And. This positive represents what? And. So they are saying that iron 2 chloride and hydro- and hydrogen gas is produced. So this is how you are supposed to know a word equation. So a word equation. So if you are able to tell here, you can even tell me what which ones are the reactants here and which ones are the products. So they're saying that magnesium metal, okay, magnesium metal reacts, meaning that magnesium metal, it is one of the reactants. React with what? With oxygen. So meaning that oxygen as well is a reactant to form. So to form magnesium oxide. Magnesium what? Oxide, like that. So you need to know what word equations are. So the word equations, they are actually a sentence, a chemical sentence, which describes a chemical, what is happening in a chemical reactions, but in words. It is a sentence in words. Okay, it is a sentence in words. So the atoms or the elements, they are being represented using their names. Okay, using their names. But we also have, apart from this, we also have what we call a chemical equation. So this is a word equation. So now we need to look at the word chemical. Okay, so chemical equation, a chemical what? Equation, like that. A chemical equation. Make sure that you understand on this one. Make sure that you understand on this one. So a chemical equation, it is an equation that represents elements in the reaction, or that represent what is happening in the reaction in form of symbols. So these, they're now in their symbols, not in their names in here. Okay, so in here you write them as words, their real names, but a chemical equation, you write them using their chemical symbols. Okay, their chemical symbols. This is where now we are supposed to use what we call chemical formulas. Chemical formulas, what we are from looking at, or what we looked at in the previous video for chemistry. Okay, in the previous videos for chemistry. So now you need to know their symbols. So these symbols, some of the elements, you can find them on the periodic table, but there are some radicals that I actually gave you during chemistry lesson. So during chemistry lesson, I actually gave you some radicals, those elements that you cannot find on the periodic table, and they are independent. They don't depend on any other atom, so they are not there on the periodic table. Okay, so you need to know them. You need to know their valence number. That's how it is. So let's try to write a chemical equation like when we are given a word equation. So now how do we write that? How do we write that? So they are saying that we should write it in what? In their chemical what? Symbols. So in here you write them in chemical symbols. Chemical symbols like that. So in chemical symbols, so make sure that you also include their state symbols. If it is solid, include it, write it as solid. If it is negative, if it is an ion, you write it as an ion, like that. Okay, so this is what we are actually doing. So we are saying that magnesium metal. Okay, magnesium metal. You know what a metal is in what? In solid state. So magnesium metal react with what? With oxygen. So we are saying that these are the reactants. Since they are reacting here, since they are what? They are reacting here. They are reacting. So magnesium metal react with oxygen. You know that oxygen, it is what? It is in gas. Okay, so you need to write as magnesium. You need to know the symbol for magnesium. You need to know its symbol. So magnesium is actually like this. So magnesium is actually capital M, small letters G. That is what magnesium is. So they are saying that this plus, okay, this plus or positive sign on the left side, it represents reaction. It represents what? Reaction. So mean that this is reacting with what? With oxygen. They are saying that oxygen gas. So now you need to know that oxygen cannot be written as this, because it is cannot be written as oxygen like this, like that, because it doesn't exist on its own. It exists as a diatomic molecule. Okay, a diatomic molecule, di means two, so it doesn't exist as one, so it only exists as two atoms of what? Of element. So it is written like this. So this is what? This is oxygen. So we are saying that this symbol, these are represent what? To form. Okay, so when magnesium and oxygen react, when magnesium and what? And oxygen react, so it will produce what? Magnesium oxide. It will produce what? Magnesium oxide. So if you remember how to form the chemical equation from what I taught you how to form a chemical equation, so you say that magnesium, you write it like this: magnesium, okay, magnesium, even here oxygen, like that. So you need to know their valence numbers. So magnesium is actually in group 2. Magnesium is in group 2. So you need to know that those which are in group 2, they have the valence of what? They have the valence of 2. Those that are in group 1, so this one, oxygen, on the periodic table, I showed you how to find the valence numbers. So oxygen also has the valence of what? Has a valence of 2. So when they swap their valences and divide by the common factor, you find that when 2 divide by 2, you have what? You have 1. Even here 1. So mean that it is magnesium 1 and oxygen 1. So it is going to be written as magnesium oxide, like that. So you need to know that magnesium is what? is in solid state, so you put the state symbol. Oxygen is what? Is in gaseous state. So this is what? Solid state. So you need to know how to do that. So this is actually how to write a chemical equation. But take note of that this equation is not what? Balanced. And balancing is what we are looking at today. So balancing is what we are looking at. So you need to know how to balance an equation. Okay, you need to know how to balance an equation. So an equation, just from the concept of what? Of an equal sign. An equal sign means that if here there is 2, here also must be what? Must be 2. Equal. Equal. So here must be 2. If there is 10, also here must be what? Must be 10. So now we compare them. So this is an equal sign here. Okay. So now we compare these. Okay. So we actually count the number of atoms. The number of atoms this side and this side. So we count individually. So magnesium here, magnesium is what? There is 1 magnesium here. How about this side? Magnesium is what? Is 1 here. We have 1 magnesium. Mean that magnesium is what? Is balanced. How about oxygen? So if we look at oxygen here, oxygen is what? Is 1 here. Okay, there is 1 atom of what? Of oxygen. How about this side? So this side there are 2 atoms of oxygen. There are 2 atoms of oxygen. So what do we do? So we need to add. You need to add 2 as the coefficient of this whole thing. Or should I say you need to multiply 2 by what? By this whole thing. So what I mean is you need to put 2 here. Okay, so 2 is the coefficient. If you remember in mathematics what I actually taught you, so 2 is a coefficient of everything here. So you need to put a 2. Since oxygen is 2 here, you need to put a 2 in order to balance this. So this 2 means that we multiply this 2 times magnesium 1, this 2 times this. So this is just the same as, let's say for instance, you have 2 open bracket x plus y, like that. So mean that is going to be 2 times x, that is to be 2x plus what? Plus 2y plus 2y. So mean that here there are 2 atoms of magnesium and 2 atoms of what? Of oxygen. So we actually don't put this side, but we put this side. Okay, we put this side. So even here, so since magnesium is now 2, magnesium is 2, but here it is what? It is 1. So we don't put here 2, no, we put this side. Okay, we put it as a coefficient. All right, so we put 2, we multiply it by 2 like that. So mean that we have 2 magnesium, 2 magnesium, 2 oxygen, even here 2 oxygen, because this 2 is also for this one. So this is how you balance the equation. This is how you balance the equation. So I want us to look at this as well. I want us to look at this, but this one, let me not solve it because it will confuse you. Suppose you don't know what hydrochloric acid is. Okay, suppose you don't know what hydrochloric acid is, but you know, I'm sure you know what hydrochloric acid is. So they are saying that iron 2 chloride solution, hydrogen gas and hydrogen gas are produced. So they are produced, mean that they are products. These two, they are what? They are products when ion, okay. So when ion reacts with what? Dilute hydrochloric acid. So you need to know the symbol for ion. So ion is a reactant because it is reacting with dilute hydrochloric acid. So ion, it is a reactant. So you need to know how to write it. So this is our number 2, like that. Our number 2 like that. So ion, right? So ion, so you write it as this. So this is the symbol for ion, like that. So ion, it is a solid. It is one of the transition metals. So ion, so they're saying that it is reacting with what? this is with this represent reaction. So iron is reacting with dilute what? Hydrochloric acid. So just get hydrochloric acid, and how you write hydrochloric acid is HCl. HCl. So hydrochloric acid, it is a combination of hydrogen and chlorine. Hydrogen and chlorine. And hydrochloric acid is in aqueous state. You need to know the state symbol. So it will produce what? They are saying that iron 2 chloride. Iron 2 chloride is produced. Iron what? 2 chloride is produced. So iron 2 chloride. So iron 2, if you remember how I taught you iron 2, iron 2. So iron 2, meaning that iron 2, it has a valence of what? Of 2, because it is what? It is a metal. It is a metal, a transition metal. So iron 2. So they are saying that iron, like that, it has a valence of what? Of 2. So they are saying that iron 2 chloride. Okay. So iron 2 chloride means that it reacted with what? Chlorine, like that. So what you do here, this, when this, okay. So when iron react with what? Chlorine, with the oxygen, with hydrochloric acid, so it will get the chlorine from the hydrogen. It will get from the chlorine from the hydrogen. But remember, this is iron 2. So this is what? Iron 2, like that. So it will be, with the products will be iron 2, okay, iron 2 chloride plus what? Plus oxygen. So it will be like this, iron 2. So this is iron 2 chloride, like that, okay, iron 2 chloride, like that. Where did I get this? Where did I get this? Where did I get this? So iron is reacting with what? With chlorine. Okay, so with what? With chlorine. So chlorine is in group 7, and all